Tien is a kung fu master who uses a unique black tiger fighting style to take down his opponents. While he's away, his enemies, the Tien 3 tigers, storm his mansion to kill the kung fu master. The assassins easily defeat Tien 2's security men as they advance through the compound and enter the mansion's living area. There, they find Tien 2's wife, together with his son Chang, and immediately seize the frightened duo. They ask them about Tien 2, but learn that he has gone on a business trip. This enrages the trio, and they immediately kill the woman, while they cut off Chang's arms. Seconds later, Tien 2 returns from his trip, and is devastated to discover what the assassins have done. He immediately attacks the trio, and engages them in a fierce battle. An enraged Tien 2 uses his bare hands, and disarms the assassins with a series of fast-paced blows, before killing them with his deadly black tiger fighting style. After he is done with the assassins, he consoles his son Chang, and vows to get him a pair of iron hands as soon as his arms heal up. Years later, Chang grows up to be a fine young man, and as promised, gets a pair of prosthetic iron arms to replace his limbs. Moreover, the iron arms can extend in length as needed and shoot out darts at the same time. Chang also learns the deadly black tiger technique from his father, and becomes an exceptionally skilled fighter. In one of their training sessions, Chang easily destroys several bamboo trees, showcasing great agility and strength. After the gruesome training session, Tien 2 takes Chang to the mansion's compound, where a group of tied-up prisoners are waiting. Tien 2 reveals to Chang that the prisoners are the sons of the assassins who crippled him years ago. As soon as Chang hears this, he attacks the prisoners and cripples them just as their fathers had done to him. However, despite having their revenge, Tien 2 and Chang are still filled with bitterness and anger towards the world. Both father and son have turned into a ruthless pair who terrorizes the town and takes pleasure in crippling anyone who offends them. One day, the father-son duo, accompanied by their lead bodyguard Juan, arrives at a tavern. There, Chang and Juan unjustly beat up 2 men who look at them the wrong way. Seeing this, the town's blacksmith Wei becomes horrified and loudly berates them for bullying the men. After Wei leaves, Tien 2 plots with Juan to teach him a lesson later. Meanwhile, a traveling salesman named Tien also speaks out against the family's barbaric actions. The statement greatly upsets Chang, prompting him to approach and attack the salesman. Tien doesn't get a chance to react as Chang swiftly uses his iron fists to poke Tien's eyes, permanently blinding the traveler as he stumbles to the floor in pain. In the following scene, Tien 2 sends Juan along with his other bodyguards to bring the town's blacksmith Wei to his mansion. At the mansion, Wei is instantly seized by the guards and forced to drink a strange liquid. As a result, he loses his voice permanently. Devastated, Wei curses Tien 2 by writing an inscription on a nearby table. Sadly, this bold action pisses Tien 2 off, and he fiercely slaps Wei's ears, making him deaf as well. The next day, Tien 2 and Chang, accompanied by their entourage, take a stroll around town. A man named Akui mistakenly bumps into Chang, which causes the 2 men to argue. An abusive Chang throws Akui to the ground and orders his bodyguards to cut off Akui's legs. In the next scene, Chang's disabled victims discover each other and are bullied by some villagers. Fortunately, this doesn't last long, as a visiting kung fu master named Yi comes to their aid and chases the bullies away. Yi also learns of Tien 2's tyranny and promises to avenge the cripples as he swiftly walks to the master's mansion. There, he meets Tien 2 alongside his entourage and condemns the fighter's violent actions. His words prompt 2 of Tien 2's bodyguards to attack him, but he easily takes them down. After a while, the lead bodyguard Juan charges at Yi, and the duo engages in a fierce battle. Eventually, Chang joins the fight and manages to capture Yi with Juan's help. Tien 2's men torture Yi, using an iron vise to compress his skull. Sadly, the punishment results in Yi suffering severe brain damage, making him mentally disabled. Man, life sure makes you aggressive when you can't touch yourself. After this, Yi is thrown out of the mansion and left to die. Luckily, he is helped by the other 3 cripples, who rescue him and take him to Wei's shop. The cripples ask Yi multiple questions to determine where he comes from. However, a now idiotic Yi merely jumps around playfully. Right then, Akui searches Yi and finds a note from his teacher, who lives at a nearby kung fu school. Learning this, the 4 disabled men embark on a journey to return Yi to his master. Wei uses a barrow to transport a blind Tien and a crippled Akui, while Yi fools around behind them. Eventually, the men arrive at the school, but find its doors tightly shut. Yi easily scales the fence and enters the compound, opening the doors for the rest from the inside. The disabled men find Yi's master, Jing Ying, and tell the aged man about Tien-Tu's tyranny and his numerous violent actions, leading to their respective disabilities. Jing Ying is horrified by the news and reveals that Tien-Tu was once a hero who used his fighting skills for good. However, he is now turned into a monster after the assassins attacked his home many years ago. The master thanks the cripples for returning Yi, and to show his appreciation, offers to teach them kung fu. The men are ecstatic to hear this and quickly accept the offer, as they plan to enact their revenge on Tien-Tu and take the tyrant down. The next day, Jing Ying commences their training and uses a unique teaching style for each man, in line with their disabilities. He instructs Wei to make a pair of prosthetic iron legs for Akui. After a long day's work, the blacksmith successfully makes them, and Akui tries them on. He isn't used to the artificial legs and shakily stands on his feet before falling to the ground. Jing Ying also trains Chen to use his sense of hearing to supplement his lack of sight. Chen learns to sharpen his ears and eventually masters using them. Over time, Chen is able to accurately shoot down several falling leaves by just using his keen hearing. Later, the master teaches Wei, alongside the others, a unique palm sign language to communicate with the deaf man. Jing Ying uses the technique to deliver multiple instructions to Wei and teaches him martial arts tricks, such as using reflective bands to see objects or opponents moving behind him. Meanwhile, Akui practices walking on the prosthetic legs and gradually perfects using them. He also learns kung fu kicks and uses his powerful metal legs to his advantage. On the other hand, Wang Yi, though mentally disabled, remains a skilled martial arts master. Hence, he requires no further teaching. He spends the entire time mindlessly disturbing the other cripples and occasionally practices with them in their respective training. 3 years pass, and the men fully complete their training and become expert kung fu fighters. As they say their final goodbyes to their master, he gives them some valuable intel on Tien-Tu. The tyrant is throwing a party in a few days to celebrate his 45th birthday. Hence, that would be a perfect opportunity to attack. Jing Ying advises them to attack Tien-Tu together and get used to the fighter's black tiger style before trying to finish him off. The group thanks him for his help over the years. After this, they leave the school to enact their revenge. Chen proposes they return to town separately to observe any new changes and avoid arousing suspicion. He disguises himself as a fortune teller and re-enters the town as he arrives at the tavern for a drink. The tavern keeper recognizes Chen and quietly warns him that Tien-Tu's top bodyguard, Wan, is in the room. Chen is amused by this and walks over to Wan's table, sitting with the top guard while the other men stare at him. After conversing, Chen confidently reveals to an unsuspecting Wan that he is the very same man his boss blinded years ago. The bodyguards swiftly attack Chen, but he easily defeats them with his quick-witted kicks and blows. So much for keeping a low profile. Wan also pounces at Chen, and the duo engage in an intense battle. Wan bombards him with several punches, but with the aid of his staff, Chen dodges all of them. Ultimately, Chen hits Wan with his staff, which knocks him back. Wan is startled by the blind man's expert abilities and leaves the tavern with his men soon after. Shortly afterwards, Wan returns to the mansion and hires a pair of fighting masters, Lin and Lu, to defeat Chen before Tien-Tu's birthday. The next morning, Wei also arrives in town and visits the tavern. He is welcomed by the shop owner, who leads him to a special table upstairs to enjoy a drink. Right then, Wan arrives with his men and chases all the customers away from the tavern, while Wei hides upstairs, observing the group from the elevated ground. Meanwhile, Wan orders the men to remain still and to not make a sound as they wait to ambush a blind Chen. Just as Chen enters, Lin shoots an iron ball at him, but Wei saves him by pushing a table from upstairs to stop the shot. The sound alerts Chen to the surrounding men, and a fight ensues. Wan and his men launch a series of rapid attacks, but the two cripples dodge their blows and expertly defeat them. Seeing this, a cautious Wan signals his men to stop fighting and retreats to the mansion. That evening, Wei is attacked from behind by Lu, but the deaf man spots him, using a mirror attached to his neck neck and dodges the strike. After a brief fight, Wei defeats and kills Liu, while one of Wan's men observes from a distance. A few minutes later, the witness shows Wan Liu's corpse and reveals that Wei was the one who killed the skilled fighter. The news greatly disturbs Wan, prompting him to devise a plan to kill the cripples. Jeez. That night, Wan and his men find Chen and Wei at the tavern. Wan attacks Wei, and an intense fight ensues. Chen tries to join the fight, but Wan's men beat drums to hinder his hearing. The drumming sound confuses Chen as he frantically waves his rod around, hitting nothing but air. Fortunately, Wei comes to his aid and charges towards the drumming men. When the noisy sounds stop, Chen regains his composure and joins the fight. Wan and his men rush the duo with multiple sword swings, but the cripples easily disarm them, using their heightened senses. Wei hits several guards in the face with his fists, while Chen wards them off by skillfully swinging his staff. Wan and his men are stopped by Mr. Cho, one of Tien 2's old friends, who had just arrived in town for his birthday. This party's starting to pop off. Cho, a veteran fighter, sends the men away and assures them that he can single-handedly defeat the duo. When they leave, Cho admits that he feels terrible about fighting a pair of cripples and makes them a proposition. He offers them 3 free punches and kicks before they even start fighting, just to even the playing field. Instantly, the duo accepts the offer, with Wei punching and kicking him 3 times. However, a sturdy Cho barely flinches. Chen also tries to knock him down by delivering multiple attacks, and even a high kick, but Cho once again remains unmoved. Right then, Akui and Yi emerge from the tavern's secret room and join the others. Akui asks Cho for his free attacks, and the boastful veteran obliges. Akui strikes Cho 3 times with his fists, but the latter remains unaffected. However, when Akui kicks him with his iron feet, Cho is left brutally injured. He tries to fight the group, but they dodge his attacks, after which he succumbs to his injuries and dies while remaining in a standing position. Akui and Yi return to the tavern's secret room, while Chen and Wei stay behind. Wan returns with his men and is shocked to find that Chen and Wei are still alive. The men check Cho and are shocked again to discover that he is dead as the mighty fighter falls to the floor, breaking a table in the process. The men carry his body back to the mansion and throw it to Tien 2, informing the tyrant of the cripples' return. On Tien 2's birthday, he goes to the tavern to fight the cripples. Chen, aware that Tien 2 is approaching, instructs the group to leave the building as soon as they engage the tyrant in a fight and learn his techniques. Akui also exits the tavern before the men show up to conceal his iron leg ability. Later on, Tien 2, alongside his men, arrives at the tavern. Chen and Wei emerge and engage the tiger-style user in a battle, but quickly jump out through the window once he gets the upper hand. Yi follows shortly after and joins the duo as they escape. Tien 2 decides not to pursue them and instead spends the rest of the day in his mansion, entertaining his guests at his party. The next day, the crippled avengers regroup and storm Tien 2's mansion, with Chen and Wei entering first. As they enter the compound, Tien 2's bodyguards, who anticipated their arrival, launch several coordinated attacks at them. Chen's hearing is impaired by the bodyguards' drumming, while Wei is blinded by the sun's rays reflected from a contraption of mirrors. Luckily, just as the guards approach the duo, Yi enters the scene, startling the men as he destroys some drums. Regaining their senses, the duo destroys the mirror contraption and the rest of the drums, while simultaneously defeating the guards. Chen and Wei knock them all out, including Wan and Lin, after which the duo advances to the other end of the mansion, where they find Tien 2 and his son, Chang. The 2 cripples separate, with Wei going after Tien 2, while Chen engages Chang in a fight. Chang uses his iron fists to deliver several swift blows at the blind man, but Chen tactfully uses his iron staff to block them. Chen and Chang are evenly matched in skill, as both men showcase extraordinary speed and agility. Soon after, Yi joins the fight, and with his help, Chen gains the upper hand. Chen and Yi use a pair of metal rings and launch a coordinated attack at Chang, managing to snap his neck in the process. Sadly, before Chang falls, he delivers a fatal blow to Yi, severely injuring the mentally disabled man, who dies shortly after. Chen takes a moment to mourn Yi, but immediately joins Wei as the duo fight Tien 2 together. A while later, Akui also joins them, and the trio collectively battles the tiger-style user. The final battle is ferocious, like a tiger, but unlike anything the cripples had previously encountered. The men use the surrounding tables to their advantage, launching aerial kicks at Tien 2, but the master fighter dodges the attacks. Despite their number, Tien 2 keeps keeps up with them and matches their acrobatic movements. After a lengthy battle, Wei and Chen immobilize Tien too, while Akui delivers a finishing kick with his iron feet. The tyrant is astonished by the power of Akui's kick and realizes that he has a pair of iron feet. However, it is too late. Tien too falls to the ground due to the kick's impact and dies. The movie ends as the three cripples leave the mansion with bright smiles, having successfully enacted their revenge. The moral of the story is that revenge is never worth it, but sometimes it's worth it. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.